What's that music, everybody? This is a late night podcast. This is called Me Reading Stuff After Dark. That title is based on, you guessed it, the Peach Pit After Dark on Beverly Hills 90210. That was the nightclub that was right behind the diner, the Peach Pit. And all sorts of hot, sexy things were going on back there, just like they are right here in my house, filled with the smell of tater tot casserole. I've got clothes that have been on my body for 2 days, a sweater that makes me look like I'm 89 years old. The sweatpants are well worn, no socks, hair's a mess, mascara dripping down my face. I don't know if it's dripping down my face, but it's smeared. I've got some old ass mascara on here. It's been a busy week for me. I'm checking in with you guys late. Really, it's late Wednesday, but it's technically Thursday at 12:30 a.m. And I am going ahead and going to drop this shit right away, after I'm done, I guess. And that way you guys can have it on your regular Thursday. So I can't do it tomorrow because what I've been very excited about and preparing for is, I have a couple of best friends, but I've got two best friends. They're both named, one's named Eric and the other's name is Erica. And one lives in Chicago and the other lives in Los Angeles. One's a boy, one's a girl. One, I don't know. They both are fair-skinned. That's something they have in common. And they're both hilarious. So anyway, Erica is coming. Now, you may remember she did come up here right before the pandemic. It was January of 2020, the last week of January, I think. And guess what? She was really sick. And she got sick like on the plane, not throwing up. Honestly, it could have been COVID. We don't know. And then I caught whatever she had because she was so sick she didn't want to go anywhere. We were just in the living room and kitchen the entire time. And then I've seen her one other time since then, but since kind of getting the guest area all fixed up and ready for people, this is like the first real time that I've gotten to have, I don't know, it just feels like a very big deal. So anyway, Erica's coming and I have been preparing and it's been very fun. I've been to maybe 5 grocery stores. One of them I've been to 3 times. So I'm not counting that as 3 separate grocery stores. That's 3 times at one grocery store, at 5 grocery stores. Because let's see if I can pull up the email, or I don't know. I guess I don't have to do that. Or you know what? I do want to. Okay, so Erica and I both have done this ever since we've known each other. We love kind of giving each other surveys, I guess, and I don't know how to describe these things we do letter-wise. We don't get as much of a chance to do it anymore, but even when she would come over to my house when we lived in the same city, it was always so much fun for me to send her a little survey like, here are 3 options of what we're going to watch tonight, and here are 5 options for what I can make for dinner tonight, and then put them in order. You don't just pick, because people don't always want to do that, but you give them the list, and then they put them in order of how much they want them. It's easier, it's gentler, it's kinder. So anyway, here's what I gave her, the food at home options. Now, be warned. We're some gross people, all right? When Erica and I get together, it is all fun foods all the time. So much so that the last time we were together, she was like, I don't want you to think that, and she was dead serious, like, I'm not trying to kill you, and please tell Damien I'm not trying to kill you, but it looks like it. She called the menu for the weekend the diabetes and heart attack special because it was so crazy. It's even crazier what I'm doing now. So anyway, all right, here was the options. I said King Ranch casserole, turkey burgers and mini tater tots, taco night, English muffin pizzas with a salad. By the way, salads can be with all of this. Chicken and dumplings, tater tot casserole, enchiladas. Notice the amount of cheese on there. Not to mention, I'm adding in something that she doesn't know about, which is fondue lunch. So there's some more cheese for you. So anyway, I said, put these things in order of how much you're feeling each one. So she chose, number 1, turkey burger with mini tater tots. Number 2, tater tot casserole. So there's a lot of tater tots going on. However, I added in a surprise breakfast casserole, not even realizing it also has tater tots in it. So as I'm making all this food today, I spent all day just making all the food and preparing for the things that I can't make ahead of time and all this stuff. Oh, I'm also making her my very special deviled eggs, which I know she loves. And pretty much this is where I brag. Everybody loves them. They are the best. I've had them requested many times. And the trick is, don't overdo anything. Don't get creative. Don't start putting curry powder in there. Don't put jalapenos in there. You don't need to put parsley on top. It's like, do it the way your grandma did it, and you're golden. If you want my recipe, let me know. I'll give it to you. It's my mom's recipe. And I'm from the Midwest. We know how to do shit like deviled eggs, okay? And tater tot casserole. Anyway, I also made pumpkin bread ahead of time last week and froze it, putting it out on a cake platter tonight. Just did it. So that'll be ready for snacking or maybe a light breakfast with coffee, whatever. And this, oh my God, this breakfast casserole I kind of concocted. I've never made it before, but I very slyly was able to try it. Here's what you do. You take a knife. Okay, you've got a casserole, right? This is an egg-based casserole, so imagine that kind of substance, right? So you take a knife, you split it in the middle a little bit. Very carefully, you just like find the right area where it doesn't look like it's going to be noticeable later. And then you very carefully, you take a spoon in that slit. This is like surgery. And then you glide it into the depths of the casserole and you come on out of that slit. It's like, it does feel like dermatology or something. Dermatological surgery or, and so then you got a nice intersection. Now you can't eat the best part, which is the crispy, the crust or whatever, the top of it, which you ideally with casseroles, you find a way to make that, what is the word? Crunchy? Not crunchy, but crisp, browned. But that's okay, because at least this way, since this was a new casserole, I very carefully got this spoon out, and you better believe it was so good. I went in for another one. Then you just like, hello, you're an artist. So you just kind of artfully cover that up. You can't tell I got into that casserole. I mean, I not that she gives a shit, but anyway, so that is what else is going on. I've put a stuffed animal on her bed. There's a gift basket over there with all sorts. I found these new everything bagel flavored nuts. It's pecans, cashews, and almonds, and they've got this like crunch on top of again with the crunch. I know she's gonna love those. I even got an extra little thing of them so that she could take one on the airplane home. And then, all of her favorite drinks, her favorite wine, a surprise rosé lime spritzer in a can. I don't know if that's going to go over well, but we're going to see. When we've been saving a show to watch, actually 3 shows to watch together, 3 different shows that have really exciting episodes going on. Oh my God, it was so funny. I was talking to her this week, and as I was talking to her back and forth on audio notes, I was watching, she told me to look at something on Netflix, I think. And is that where the show Succession is? I call it Succession. Is it Succession? What the hell how do you say that word? I'll look it up. Anyway, Succession is how I say it. And I was looking at it and I thought, I saw the guy Cameron from Ferris Bueller. Succession. You do say the K. Oh God. Why did I think it was Secession? Is there a secession too? Anyway, Succession. So, I mean, it makes sense because they succeed. God. Anyway, forget it. It's late. I'm tired. I've had no sleep this week. And I'm also just dumb. So there's that too about some things. And I saw Cameron and I go, oh my God, as I'm talking to her, I'm like, oh my God, Succession is back. I can't believe this. I can't believe Cameron from Ferris Bueller is going to be on it. And remember when I was on the elevator with him at my old dermatologist in Beverly Hills? And anyway, and I embarrassed myself. I said something so weird. Everybody, by the way, this is a true story. Everybody was packed in the elevator, and I'm right next to Cameron from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. And we stopped on another floor. It's already so packed. And this one guy goes, if it's okay, I really want to get on, or something like that. And he goes, it might be a little tight. And I don't exactly know what I said, but I said something like, I've had tighter things, or something that just sounded insane and sexual and weird. And and everybody just got quiet. Like nobody laughed or anything. It was horrible. But anyway, so I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh my God, the new season of Succession's out, and it looks like Cameron from Ferris Bueller's on it. And oh my God, I've always loved him. I can't wait to see this season. I love this show. I missed it. And she responds back in the audio text, laughing her ass off. And she's like, okay, honey, that guy has been on the show since the first day of the show. He is one of the main brothers. I think you're tired, because I did tell her I had no sleep that night at all. I got up at 5 after going to bed extremely late. And so, I mean, I've lost my mind, and I got to tell you, it's kind of fun. I'm also so out of it, as far as I haven't been paying enough attention to the news at all lately. And so I have no idea what's going on. And also, I almost feel, you guys know what the Mandela effect is? If not, briefly, it's fascinating and I'm obsessed with it. And I would love to hear if any of you all have dealt with the feeling. Have you had that? I don't know if you call it a syndrome, but have you experienced the Mandela effect? I certainly have. The Mandela effect is when, hold on a second, there we go, is when you're experiencing something and you're so sure that you know what you've experienced is reality. Say, for instance, I'm talking to my mom and we're talking about Punky Brewster, and she's remembering how much I loved Punky Brewster as a kid. And then she says something like, yeah, and remember that one episode when, let me think of somebody, when Rosie O'Donnell came on and she played a male character, and I'm like, no, I don't remember that at all. That never happened. And then my mom was like, no, it was your favorite episode. And I remember I loved it too. And it was our first introduction to Rosie O'Donnell and blah, blah, blah. And then we look it up and it never happened. But my mom is like, she's like, Robin, I swear, I know this happened. But now there's no evidence of it anymore. That's called the Mandela effect. And look up one, if you want to see an example of one that is so insane, look up the Jungle Book one. So you know that song, wherever I don't know the lyrics, something, wherever I roam, I couldn't be fonder of my new home. Well, whoa, that's how I remember it. That's how everyone remembers it. But when you look at it now, it says, I couldn't be found of my new home, which doesn't make any sense, but that's what it says now. And it's creepy. So anyway, there's this other one when I lived in LA, all these Chase Bank signs kept changing from I think it was from black to white. And for a while they were gray for 2 weeks. And then I know I sound insane right now, but everybody has their own. And of course, the theory is that there are certain people living in different reality. Like I live in one reality. My brother lives in a different reality, and my mom, maybe she's in one of our realities or she's in her own or something. No one, obviously, I mean, who knows what the hell is going on, but I have no idea why I was talking about the Mandela effect. But when I start talking about it, oh God, I mean, there was a time when Damien was talking about it so much, and I love talking about it. But at a certain point, I think it was when the Chase Bank stuff was happening, I said, and I witnessed this, by the way, I drove around and I saw the bank symbols changing. And there were a lot of people who were driving around taking video of the changes every day. And it was very weird. But anyway, yeah, and I told him, I go, listen, I'm putting a stop to all talking about the Mandela effect. We cannot talk about it anymore because I was having nightmares. It was really, really scary. So, I know what it was. So, yeah, lately, every time I see anything, if there's a commercial for something, when I'm watching something and there's a commercial, I can tell that everybody in the commercial is a famous person. Like, you're supposed to know who they are. It's clear the clues in the commercial storylines are such that this is a famous person and everybody there in the commercial scenario knows who this is. And I don't know who any of them are. And they're referring to these people sometimes only by their first name, or there's no mention of who they are. It doesn't show their name. And I feel so out of place and kind of like, I just feel like an alien. Like, who am I? Where am I? What is this life? And who are all of these people? It's also slightly about age, but then again, I'm kind of up on popular culture. I mean, I thought I was anyway. But then again, and then Erica told me about 2 or 3 shows that I need to start watching. But she was like, have you seen? And then she just said them really quick. And I swear I thought she was just making shit up. I was like, I've never seen a reference to this. I've never heard a reference to this. It's just constantly I'm being told about things that I've never heard of, which is a great thing, number one. Not so much the commercials with these weird celebrities that I've never seen or heard of. Anyway, that's just what's going on. I'm sure some of you guys have maybe similar feelings. I mean, and if you're really into your own things, like and I am definitely, I mean, I'm self-directed to an extreme sometimes, like it's hard for me to want to go off of my own path because everything that I'm watching or listening to or cooking or everywhere I'm walking in the neighborhood, it is all feeding into my work all the time. I mean, it's like the way we have to eat in order to keep our bodies working. The things I put into my brain, whether it be Sweet Valley High, which I'm rereading on my Kindle right now, those old books, or what's something else, whatever it is I'm doing. If it's lowbrow, if it's I don't know what's highbrow, if it's in between, it all affects what I do as an artist equally. And my work doesn't happen without all of that. So when somebody else tries to intercede, I'm not talking about Erica, by the way, because she knows me very well. And so she is a different sort. But there are things that get into me that aren't supposed to be there. And and so sometimes I refuse things, but not in a way like, I always admit, listen, I know that's great, but it's almost like that's above my pay scale or what, I don't know. It's just, it's not shitty enough for me, to be honest with you. Like a lot of really great things, I'm not, I don't know. I like right now with the soap operas and how I've spent most of my life as an artist drawing to the same like 5 shows, and they're all, in the same categories really. I think it's just going to be like this until the end of time. And I guess I'm okay with that. Anyway, there you go. That's from Robin, chapter 56, lines 12 through 17. That's my biblical reference. I don't even know why that just came to my head. All right, you guys, let's read. here we go. We've got it. And we are going to read today from the master himself, Werner Herzog. And it's from his book, Conquest of the Useless, from Echo. It was published in 2010, which I believe might have been the same year I got to meet him at Rogue Film School. And hold up here, let me see something. You can check the link in the description of the podcast. You can find where to order it for yourself. It's only like $12, I think, right now. Let me see. Let me make sure. Yeah. Is that it? Oh, no, I was wrong. Yeah, it's on sale. It's $13.59 on HarperCollins website right now. Highly recommend it, even if you haven't seen the movie Fitzcarraldo, which is what the book is about. It's reflections from the making of Fitzcarraldo. But let me back up for a second. So Werner Herzog, most of you guys know who he is, from what I understand. But if you don't, he is a filmmaker, a German, and now living in America, has been here for a while. And he is my favorite filmmaker. And funny enough, although our work could definitely be compared to each other in a lot of different ways, I didn't know his work when I first developed my drawings and my long series of all the men in sweatsuits and stuff. Towards like the middle or end of that is when I discovered him, and that's because people kept seeing my drawings and recommending him to me. And then I got deeply involved and saw absolutely everything he's ever made, and I decided he was my favorite artist. He was the only person I ever had a Google alert for, and one night when I lived in Kingwood, Texas, I got a Google alert late one night that said, that Werner Herzog was now starting a new film school called the Rogue Film School, and he's going to invite filmmakers from all over the world in to be with him for a week in Koreatown, Los Angeles, where he's going to teach them how to be a filmmaker, or really how to live. And I'm like, whoa. And there was a website launched for it, which you can go to. In fact, I think I've read from the website on the podcast before. Somebody double check that for me and get back to me if you don't mind. You can email me at, I don't know. You know what? To make it easy, info@robinoneal.com. Feel free to email me if I did do that. I'm interested because it's, if you guys like Werner Herzog, you should read this. So anyway, I'm like, God damn it, why am I not a filmmaker? I need to make a film and apply to this. And you had like 3 weeks to apply from the time I saw the Google alert. So I was like, I remember grabbing all these little not dolls, but like figurines, and starting to use my, early iPhone to try to film them out in the grass. And I'm like, just trying to make some weird film. And then it didn't take long though for me to go, hey, this isn't what you do. Like, you have this other thing that you've been basically doing since birth and that you've honed quite a bit. Just figure it out. Just apply with that. Or maybe I didn't know that. I figured that out. I was disappointed. And I'm like, you're not a filmmaker. Stop. This is ridiculous. And then the deadline was like 2 days from now. And I realized, or from that time, this one day, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm just putting together a PowerPoint presentation of my drawings. And I didn't even know how to do PowerPoint at that time. So I pulled it up. I happened to have this suite of Microsoft stuff on my computer, and I just put like 20 of my best drawings in as a portfolio. And I wrote a really, what I remember anyway, a very badass cover letter. I also broke the rules. Like, you're supposed to do something. I mean, A, you're supposed to be a filmmaker. B, you're supposed to submit your feature-length film. And B, or C, you were supposed to do something else that I didn't do. And now thinking back, of course, all of those things that I broke the rules for are perfect, because Herzog's Rogue Film School is all about breaking the rules. I mean, we learned how to pick locks at Werner Herzog's film school. So, and how to get through police barricades. So, I mean, if I think I'm a rebel just by not applying in the right way, I'm nothing compared to that, right? So, long story short, I FedExed, overnighted my portfolio on, I think it was on a CD back then, or a DVD or whatever you used to burn that kind of stuff on. And a month later, and Herzog himself reviewed every single entry. And I got in and I couldn't believe it. And it was truly one of the greatest moments of my life, just finding out that I was going, and being there. That week was so special. People nowadays would probably say it was magical. It felt like, how is this happening? Yeah. And so, oh my God. Anyway, that's the background on Herzog and me. There's about, God, you could talk, I could talk to somebody who cared about this for no less than 5 days straight, breakfast, lunch, dinner, and still not say everything I want to say about that experience for me. But just know that it was very special, and that he ended up showing my drawings, my whole portfolio that I sent to him, to the whole group. And he said, I have it written down somewhere exactly, but he said, these are Robin's poems. And then he hit play on the slideshow or whatever, and I'm like, whoa, something like that. It was even better because it came from him. And it was insane. So anyway, and then I don't know, like a year later, I guess then when I moved to Los Angeles, because at the time I didn't live there, and then I fell in love with Los Angeles in a very serious way. The way somebody talks about falling in love at first sight was how I felt about Los Angeles. And so then I moved out there, and then through a weird set of circumstances, I got invited to go to this thing, an outdoor, you know what it's called, Cinespia or whatever, at Hollywood Forever Cemetery. Herzog was presenting a film, and I got to be invited as one of his guests to be there, and I got to make hummus for our little picnic. Like you're sharing a picnic area, a blanket, with your friends when you go there, and this was like with Werner Herzog. I'm like, whoa, okay, this is something that I cannot believe I'm lucky enough to have ever, said one word to him. So anyway, as I pulled out these books of Herzog's, when I was thinking about this one, I remember also at the end we got to get anything we had of his signed, and we got little certificates, which I should post mine and show you guys. Maybe I'll post it on Instagram. I'll make a note. Where's my pen? And anyway, when I handed him my whatever book I was getting signed, I was in this weird habit at the time. Well, anyway, he opens the book and he's like, you already signed it. And I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I do this where I sign the beginning of every book of mine. And he was like, he looked at me like I was crazy. I was so embarrassed. And it was weird. It did look like I signed his book. But I was in this habit of doing that to all of my books around the time, which is such a bizarre activity. And I don't know why I was doing it. I really regret it though, because every time from that stage of my life I open one of those books, which there was a lot, I just shake my head at myself. And then I remember the Herzog thing and how embarrassing that was. And also we got a picture together at the end, which I also have, which I can post. Let me write that one down too. And right as the person's about to snap the camera, he goes, never smile. And because I was smiling, it's natural for me like a dork to smile in a photo. But he doesn't. And he was like looking dead serious. Anyway, and the photo is basically me. I look terrible because I'm trying to like hold back the laugh that I'm having as a result of him telling me never smile. Come on. It's amazing. All right. Well, you'll be happy to know this isn't a long reading that I'm about to read to you. But let me start because it's already 30 minutes in. And I kind of just don't care. I'm just going to go with the flow from here on out. Let me make an announcement. If I record a podcast that's 10 minutes long, 20 minutes long, 30 minutes long, 2 hours long. It's all just how it is. And this is basically me saying the same thing about everything in my life. I may make a neon yellow hanging sculpture that looks like something you might find at Joann Fabrics. I might make a 25-foot by 18-foot massive drawing where I'm drowning all of these white guys. I might do that. I might do any amount of things. Who knows what I might do? There's no telling with me. I might have this. I might do my Young and the Restless podcast. I might take 2 weeks to pretend like I'm a housewife and pretend like that is my life's calling. And even like dress the part and I don't know, maybe drink wine every night and also watch different shows. That kind of sounds appealing to me. I have no idea what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to apologize for any of it. And I feel like you guys will like hearing that. Every time I apologize for the podcast being too long, I hear from a lot of you guys, and I love it. And Aaron, if you're listening, I also heard it from you recently. So I'm hearing this from people. They're like, I don't care. You could just do it for, 2 hours. 2 hours seems to be the go-to that everybody says as a premise. But anyway, we're just gonna do whatever we feel like. Okay, back to Werner Herzog's Conquest of the Useless. Beautiful book. Here's the description from the website. Werner Herzog, and it says in parentheses, grizzly man, which is actually one of my favorites, is one of the most revered and enigmatic filmmakers of our time, and Fitzcarraldo is one of his most honored and admired films. More than just Herzog's journal of the making of the monumental, problematical motion picture, which involved, among other things, major cast changes and reshoots, and the hauling, without the use of special effects, of a 360-ton steamship over a mountain. Conquest of the Useless is a work of art unto itself, an Amazonian fever dream that emerged from the delirium of the jungle, with fascinating observations about crew and players, including Herzog's lead, the somewhat demented, internationally renowned star Klaus Kinski, and breathtaking insights into the filmmaking process that are uniquely Werner Herzog. Conquest of the Useless is an eye-opening look into the mind of a cinematic master. And he, around this time, was at his most giving in this way, too, by the way. Like this book, Rogue Film School, he had this desire, and I think he even said this, like, why would I want to die without talking about this to younger generations, which I thought was really beautiful. And truly, I get that. I mean, in my own, middle-aged way, and being now much older than so many of the artists who I end up talking to or hearing from in various ways, or doing, guest lectures and stuff. All I want to do is to be as generous as possible with anything I know. And I do know a lot, not because I'm awesome, but because I have been dedicated to doing this since high school. I knew that I was going to be a professional artist. And I didn't let anything get in the way of that. And it was all, trust me, it was probably 50% ambition and love, like that combo of the love and ambition for something that fills you up in that way, that always had, that makes you feel like this is your purpose. But also it was 50% being a total idiot, not realizing that what I was desiring was something so massive and very hard to attain. And so, but I mean, it works. So it's that thing that people will tell people, like, just have tunnel vision and don't have a backup plan. And as much as I don't want to give that advice to people, because it's also really scary, now I'm getting older, and even though I can barely get by I get by doing this as a life, right? And now I have a double income life where we can help each other out when we need to, which we've already seen in our short time together many times where we need to. I'm talking about Damien because he's also an artist in the musician sense. But anyway, the point being is that, well, anyway, back to the whole thing is that I have plenty to say about what it's like to be a visual artist and a professional one, because that's not always in the same category of person. Just everything that about what that means. And I mean, you do want to share that when you spend every waking minute pretty much obsessed with what it is you're doing, and because you love it, not because you're a sick person. Why would you not want to share that? But then if you don't want to be a professor or a teacher, where do you share that? Well, I guess wherever you can. And so in a way, Herzog was in that moment of his life during this time period, and I benefited from that. And anybody who reads this book benefits from it too. I highly, highly, highly recommend this book to all of you. I know I've read From Walking on Ice, which is another one I highly recommend, but I think for who seems to be my listeners, I would recommend this book even more, especially for the artists. The other, Walking on Ice, might be a little more for the adventurous of my listeners, those of you who I don't relate to at all. Okay, so prologue is what I'm going to read from Echoes and Herzog's Conquest of the Useless. A vision had seized hold of me, like the demented fury of a hound that has sunk its teeth into the leg of a deer carcass and is shaking and tugging at the downed game so frantically that the hunter gives up trying to calm him. It was the vision of a large steamship scaling a hill under its own steam, working its way up a steep slope in the jungle. While above this natural landscape, which shatters the weak and the strong with equal ferocity, soars the voice of Caruso, silencing all the pain and all the voices of the primeval forest and drowning out all birdsong. To be more precise, bird cries, for in this setting, left unfinished and abandoned by God in wrath, the birds do not sing, they shriek in pain, and confused trees tangle with one another like battling titans. From horizon to horizon, in a steaming creation still being formed, fog panting and exhausted, they stand in this unreal world, in unreal misery, and I, like a stanza in a poem written in an unknown foreign tongue, am shaken to the core. I'm going to throw it. That was a not very dramatic throw. You know what? I'm doing it again. Here we go. I'm just going to hit something. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, guys. I'm so excited. I'll be honest, I don't know the last time I felt like this about something I've read to you guys. Who remembers? Raise your hand when I used to do that a lot. I'll tell you why it doesn't happen as much lately. It's because, I mean, you read, I've read so much of my favorite, you can't feel that way about everything. I mean, it's close to Stendhal syndrome when I feel this way about a book. I mean, I'm so excited, I'm like really pumped up. And I'm on Advil PM or Tylenol PM I took right before I started recording, and I'm kind of feeling it get to me, except like, so body-wise, because I needed help. My body's in pain and I need to go to sleep. And I never want to go to sleep anymore because I'm a maniac and I'm on fire. Like my head is on fire right now. And so now now you're going to have to quadruple that excitement and fire by a million times because of this. And also, just to point out, any of you guys who know my drawings, which hello to anybody new. I'm an artist. If that's not clear, I'm a visual artist. I guess I have referenced that. But I make drawings where this prologue could pretty much be a description of my life's work. Oh my God. I don't really call my work my life's work, by the way, but my friend Aaron recently called it that, and then I sort of made fun of it. I'm like, trust me, you just call it my shit that I do or whatever. Anyway, that's really weirding me out. I mean, that's like very crazy to me. I mean, there's tangled trees and dying birds and these men emerging. I mean, that's just nuts. So, oh God, how do I gotta take a break. Let me just hit stop and take some water and calm down. Okay, I'm back. I'm a little bit calmer. Okay. Let's get to the business corner here. Hello, everybody. Thank you so much, by the way, to anybody who supported me and my little shop. You guys know I don't ask for much. I provide weekly podcast for the hell of it, for the fun of it. But occasionally I have things that you guys might feel like supporting, and my shop is one of them. And the new launch went really well, and I thank you guys. Most of the Me Reading Stuff discounts seem to be either my book or the new greeting cards, the 2021 headstone greeting cards, and a couple of modeliers. You guys were buying those. Anyway, it was so good, and I felt so bad that I only gave you guys a week for the discount. So we're going to do that again. The same discount code, which is, oh God, Robin, I forgot. It's fun something. Hold on. Okay, I was wrong. It's called Fall Party. FALL space PARTY. Fall Party. That's your coupon code for 25%. Any item. And again, I think they take it off of the lowest priced item. And I wish that I can do it off the entire order, but I can't. There's no option for that. So I'm sorry. I'm doing my best. So I'm going to extend that to Halloween. I was going to end it. It was set to end tonight, but I reset it, and it's good through October 31st for my Me Reading Stuff listeners only. So thank you guys, excuse me, for considering doing that. I would really appreciate it. And remember, holidays are coming up. Your best friend's birthday is coming up. Your mom and dad's anniversary is coming up, and you know which parents in life don't want a depressing book and a depressing greeting card. I mean, if you're looking for depressing items, I've got them. If you're looking for pretty, cute, bright items for your baby's nursery, I've got those too. If you're looking for weavings that resemble I don't even know what, old tapestries that make no sense from somebody self-taught in making tapestries, I've got that too. What else do I have, guys? I can't remember. I got a lot of stuff on there. Stickers, Me Reading Stuff stickers. And you can always get your Me Reading Stuff apparel through Cotton Bureau. There's a link there's a link kind of all over, but in the sticker section on my website shop, you can scroll down and you'll see a link of how you can get a hoodie or a t-shirt, and I would appreciate that too. It's always fun to rock a podcast clothes, right? Yeah, I'm big right now. I'm like dying to get a Young and the Restless sweatshirt, but they're sold out of the one I want, and it's killing me so much. It was making me so mad. Okay, so we've talked about that. I don't know that there's anything else I need to talk to you guys about other than I think you're awesome. I'm so happy I do this podcast. I'm feeling very grateful for a lot of things lately. You know, my life is far from perfect. There's all sorts of things. Like right now, I'm dealing with a really bad flare with my autoimmune conditions, and it's terrifying. But even in the midst of that, which, you know, risks me losing eyesight in my left eye, it's that bad. I woke up, I think it was yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. And I was doing some laundry and something else. And I had this moment of thinking about some of my current ambitions and ways to like up my game in certain ways. And I had a meeting with somebody to talk about this stuff later in the day. And so I was sort of planning what I wanted to speak to him about. And as I was doing that, my brain and heart, I guess, stopped myself for a minute and said, you know, what's interesting is that as much as you have all of these goals you want to tackle that are big and, you know, very difficult and probably not very likely to be able to happen, the great news is that you right now, the way your life is right now, I'm talking to myself, Robin, is if it stayed just like this and none of these new goals ever happen, And this is just how it is, exactly how I'm living right now. Like, it gets no better. I don't make any more money. I don't have any bigger shows than anything I've already had. Nobody ever, no additional listeners to the podcast. I am 100% truthful when I'm saying I would be so fine with that. And that's coming from a person who is a bit of a go-getter. I am just, my brother's the same way. We're both just geared to try to succeed at things. I don't think in a gross way. I think in a good way, like, what's wrong with that? Not in a like mean spirit, like we'll take anyone down, but like wanting to be really good at things. And I've always been that way. And I want to win also. So I'm very competitive. I don't know if you guys can tell, be honest, yes or no, but I can't help it. It's just who I am. You know what I mean? And those aren't bad qualities if you don't let them be, right? But anyway, coming from a person like that, I shocked myself at how true this really did feel, to know that I'm fine. This is it. If this is it, totally fine. If this is it, I wanna know. Didn't hit those notes, and I don't care. All right, this is seriously the end. I'm probably forgetting things, but that's okay. I am going to do a Y&R podcast, Young and the Restless. I did decorate the guest area and my main home area and my studio with fresh cut flowers. My garden is dying, and I'm kind of glad about it because it's exhausting. But there's one zucchini growing, one little zucchini that just started to grow, and I'm going to accept that it's here, and that'll be my last zucchini. The flowers are out of control at my house. I've got Halloween pumpkin decorations all over the place. I've got a scary pumpkin out front that I've seen neighbors walk by and point to, which makes me very happy. I have things I'm happy about. I have things I'm sad about. I wish I could go to sleep like normal people. I really do. And have a good rest of your week and a good, safe, happy, inspired weekend. I'll end with this. Here's a quote from Herzog. Read, 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 read. Those who read own the world. Those who immerse themselves in the internet or watch too much television lose it. If you don't read, you will never be a filmmaker. Our civilization is suffering profound wounds because of the wholesale abandonment of reading by contemporary society. Boom! You heard it here first. As a TV lover, I still agree with that quote more than you'll ever know. I love you guys. Have a great, great life, and I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.